Hi there, this is Nikki Rowland, and I'm here today with the Shimmerz Paints YouTube education team, and I am making a layout using a cut file, and I'm also going to create a background using lots of lovely Shimmerz products. So you can see I'm starting off with a completely white background, and I have a completely white cut file too, but by the end of this they will not be white. So what I'm doing there is I am using my Vibez and Spritz sprays in order to make a really lovely watercolor background. I'm just using the packaging technique. I'm mixing two colors together. I'm just adding them straight onto the paper without doing much to them. I'm adding some water in some places, so you can see me there just getting big blocks of color. The idea being that I want to have enough color shining back through from behind my cut file. So I wanted lots of pinks, and now I'm adding in some yellow. Obviously the pink is still wet, so I know that they are going to bleed and mix together. That's absolutely fine because they will make an orangey colour, and that suits me too. But I'll still get some of the lovely yellow colour shining through. I'd like a bit more of an intense colour, so you can see what I've done there is just spray directly onto the layout. I've gone nice and close, and that gives me a really intense colour at the point that I want it. And now I'm going through and adding lots and lots of splatters, just with the four colours that I chose to use on the background. So now I have all these intense dots of colour too. So that's a really great area of colour there, and that will really shine through behind my cut file, which once that's dry, that will just look totally awesome. I may add some more to it later, but at the moment I'm just going to stick with what I've got. So now I want to colour that cut file too. I wanted to pick up on the yellow in the photograph that I'm planning to use. So I've picked out the Dazzlerz in the lemon drop colour. There it is there, that really bright yellow, and the Goldmine Texturez, and I'm mixing the two together in order to kind of form like a paint, the Goldmine dulls down the very, very bright yellow from the lemon drop, which was just a fraction too bright for my layout. And I'm adding in some sunset strip vibes there too to make it a little bit more watery so that I can use it like a paint. Altogether those three colours look absolutely fab. I'm going for a brightish colour at the moment, so quite a dark, intense brightish yellow for the whole of the cut file there. And then what I will do is go back through in a little while and add in some highlights using, or actually be lowlights, using just the Goldmine colour all over on the left hand side of each letter, just to give it a bit of a highlight really, or a low light. Just to give it some variation in colour and texture. Of course, the Goldmine is a Texturez rather than a Dazzlerz, so therefore it has that wonderful grit in it, just to give it lots of different, just a different effect really. But here I go with the Goldmine Texturez. You can see I'm just really going back over each letter and adding some of that gold colour over on the left hand side of each letter. Sorry. So that I'm going to leave to dry now. I'm just putting on a plain piece of paper there and cleaning up my table. So once that's dry, that will have a wonderful shimmer shine to it, plus all the texture from the Texturez too will look totally awesome. So I'm just going back to my background now, which is nearly dry, and of course adding a bit more. So I'm adding in some more sunset strip splatters, and now what I'm doing is I wanted to bring in some of that Goldmine colour to the background. So I've just put a little bit on a craft sheet and I've mixed it with some water to turn it into a paste, or a more of a spritz, and I've splattered that on, and what I had left remaining on that craft sheet I've just smooshed onto the background too, so added it like I would have added it using the packaging technique. So that just brought that colour into the background too. So here I go, nearly done with my background and my cut files. All of my mixed media stuff is done, and now I need to get my sort out the background border at the moment I'm struggling. I can't figure out which pattern paper to use behind the layout, but I figure that out in a minute and come back up with something much better than what I've currently got. So right now I'm sticking on my adventure cut file. I'm raising it all up on foam pads, so I've got that really great dimension and the shadows caused by, you know, raising up just that, you know, just half a centimetre or whatever it is, quarter of an inch. So yeah, it really just makes a massive difference. I love to raise my cut files on foam pads, and people think I'm mad because I use so many foam pads and it takes so long to raise up each piece. I'm just putting in the middles of those letters there, again raised on foam pads. It's a labour of love, but I do love it, so that's fine. Okay, so now I'm back to that, trying to figure out that background paper, and this one is the best one I found. It's awesome. It is a Dear Lizzie Stay Colourful collection, and it's kind of got those scale print on it, but it's got the perfect orangey yellow and pinks in it that match my layout so perfectly. So that really, by giving it that border, really brings the whole layout together. I really love the way that looks. It was much better than my original choices, or the ones that I was looking at initially. So now that my layout is mostly in place, I can start adding all the embellishments, and I'm just going through my stash trying to figure out if there's anything I can use. I have a use it or lose it pouch of embellishments, of some older bits and pieces from different collections that I'm trying to get used up, and if I don't use them, then I'm going to throw them away. So the plan here is to see how many of those I can use on my layout. And I've picked out a chipboard frame and some bits of ephemera, and I've also got some lovely die cut stars, and just going through now, layering all of those up, trying to add some extra interest around my photo. So I've got my photo on the right hand side and obviously the big cut file title on the left, and I wanted to create kind of 3 areas of small embellishments to draw attention to those 2 big elements on my layout. So that's what I'm doing, just clustering up 3 small areas. I'm tucking bits in, I'm layering things on top of each other. At the moment, most of them are just loosely in place, they're not stuck yet. And once I'm happy with everything and all of my clusters and my layers, then I start to get everything stuck down. So like I'm doing now, getting my photo and stack in place. There's a massive paper clip there that I'm struggling to get in place, but determined to do so. And I'm now adding in all of those extra bits. I stick things down all the time, figure out they're in the wrong place or want to put something behind them, just lift them back up again. It's no problem, and I don't worry about things, you know, being stuck fast. It's rare that anything is stuck that fast, to be honest. So yeah, I just play around to say stick things down, move things around, tuck things under, etc., etc. So. And eventually I get a really lovely layered layout. I do love to have lots and lots of layers and interest and dimension on my layouts. It's really what I love about what I love to do with when I'm scrapbooking. Lots of little bits and pieces as well. So all those little details make it so worthwhile, and they just bring the layout together completely. So you can see I'm toying with the idea of some black sequins down there. And I'm adding in those lovely golden hearts. Oh, here we go. Here I am with the black sequins. Bit of a brave choice actually, because there's not much other black in the layout, although I do have some dark leaves and things down to the bottom right of my photo. So yeah, just getting everything stuck down now. I'm happy with all the mixed media that I've got on the layout so far. So it really is the case at this point of adding all of my details in, getting everything stuck in place, and making sure I'm happy with how the layout looks as a finished item. Because I used the Dear Lizzie paper collection for the background sheet, I'm going through and adding in some of my embellishments from the same collection. And I'm just finishing off by adding in some journaling as the very last thing. So that's my layout done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed my layout and all the techniques that I used there. If you do place an order with Shimmerz on their website, do put my name in the comments box and you will get a free gift. Thank you so much. That was Nikki Rowland for Shimmerz Paints.